um, upwardly optimistic about what the future holds for what we've got going on in the blockchain space. And I know a lot of you have started to hear about blockchain. It's becoming a buzzword right now on a socioeconomic scale. You're hearing about it politically, you're hearing about it in government agencies, you're hearing about it on the private sector. And it's a big deal. And those of us who are taking the time to really learn about it, we are going to be considered the early adopters of this technology. And it's going to be really, really explosive. And it's kind of like learning about the internet back in 1994 when very few people knew about it and how to actually monetize it. And so we're privileged to have a special person on this rally, on this video conference this evening. His name is Tony Swantec. For those of you who don't know him, Tony, you can see him if you're in the mode where you can actually see participants. Tony's background is quite incredible. I'm going to let him share it himself because he knows it better than I do. But here's what I do know. He's been very successful at creating businesses. He has a knack, maybe a gifting you might want to call it, for coming up with an idea, a strategy, and implementing some things and taking things from small to big real quick. In fact, not only has he built the company in the last 36 months to $1 billion in revenue, he's built 3 of them to $1 billion in revenue, which is pretty impressive. And so when you hear about people who've done things of that magnitude, you're going to want to pay attention, because I believe, and he'll tell you, you're about to be exposed to what he believes might be the biggest thing he's ever come across. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Tony.
Thanks, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Just fine.
Good deal. Yeah, I apologize. I'm not home. Our Puerto Rican internet went out today, so I've got to get Starlink as a backup, I guess, because they said it could be like up to 42 hours, which kind of blows. But my phone signal is better out and about. I was going to play pickleball anyways. I was planning on heading home and then doing this meeting, but since the signal's better here, figured we'd just do the meeting from the pickleball courts here in Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico, where I live. So for those of you that are new to blockchain, before I get into kind of our project and what we're doing and how you might be able to help us spread the word to the world, and also how you could benefit financially from helping us spread the word to the world, I want to share a little bit about blockchain technology, because for me, it was something I was not really interested in. I had gotten involved in cryptocurrency, and in 2019 started buying Bitcoin. It was actually 2013 started buying Bitcoin, started trading it aggressively in 2017, just different cryptocurrencies. And I had friends back then that would always tell me, cryptocurrency is great, Tony, but blockchain technology is going to change the world. And I just remember we were doing really well in 2017 trading crypto. And I told one of my buddies that was like, yeah, crypto's good, but blockchain's way more important. And I was like, bro, I said, I don't care why we're making millions of dollars trading cryptocurrency. I care that we're making millions of dollars. I don't know how my car works. I just hit the start button and it turns on, and then I start driving. And so that was kind of my mentality, is what does it matter? And then a couple friends of mine got involved in a project. It was called Gala Games. In 2018, they shared it with me. And the short story is I needed to call my buddy back. I had purchased this node software for like $10,000. I had gotten like 20 nodes. It was pretty cheap to buy each node at that time. And it got refunded about a year later. And I didn't want a refund. And so my friend was like, just call me back and you can buy this node software. It's funny, I didn't even know what a node was. I had no idea. He told me, he goes, it's basically you buy software and put it on your computer, and they'll borrow your computer power and they'll pay you. And I just remember I was like, well, how much do they pay you? And he goes, well, they give you these Gala tokens. I said, how much is a Gala token worth? And he goes, well, right now, nothing. And I just remember I was like, well, this sounds amazing. You're gonna borrow my computer power and then give me magic internet money that doesn't have any value. I was like, it sounds amazing for them, but not so great for me. And he goes, well, Tony, if people start playing these games, it could be very valuable. Long story short, I bought some, 10 grand worth of these software nodes, which I didn't really understand, and was going to let them borrow my computer. And nothing was really happening. It was kind of early. They didn't have their games built out yet. So it just wasn't doing much. And people were complaining. And so my buddy just refunds everybody. And this was 2019, late 2019, getting into 2020. And I was like, I don't want a refund. I was like, just let me run these software nodes, And he goes, just call me back. It's easier to refund everybody. Call me back in a couple weeks and we'll just redo your transaction. And at that time, I had a restaurant delivery service, kind of like an Uber Eats or a DoorDash. And we were exiting that business. We sold a third of it to a company called Eat Street, and we merged the other 2/3 with a company called Delivery.com. And it was an 8-figure exit. It was a big deal. And I just wanted to make sure that that deal got to the finish line. And I forgot to call my buddy back. Didn't think much of it. About a year goes by. And I see him posting on Facebook, and he's like, hashtag Gala Games, hashtag crypto. And I was like, uh-oh. I didn't call him back about the magic internet money, I was like, I should have called him. So I call him then, and I'm like, hey, I was like, what's going on with the Gala project? And he goes, bro, these nodes have been printing tokens for me for over a year now. And he goes, there's millions of people playing these games. And I was just like, really? And he goes, yeah, I've been selling tokens for the last month and a half or so. And I said, well, how much have you sold? And he goes, a little over $40 million worth. And I was like, get out. I was like, no way. And he showed me. He goes on to his Binance account, goes on everything. And I was like, I chalked it up as one of those missed opportunities. My buddy makes 40 mil. My other buddy, who kind of started the project, I said, well, how much has Wright made? And he goes, $4.3 billion is his net worth right now off these tokens. And then I asked the question I always tell people you should never ask if you miss an opportunity. I said, well, if I would have called you back a year ago and finished out the purchase of those nodes, how many tokens would my nodes have generated? And he goes, does the math. He's like, you'd have had 20 nodes. He goes, if you sold them all today, it would be over $10 million worth. And I remember, I went onto this website called CoinMarketCap. And the daily volume was over $4 billion traded that day. And I was just thinking about it going, man, that is a liquid asset. I could sell $10 million worth of that in 20 minutes probably. It was just, again, not a pleasant day for me because I forgot to call my buddy back. And not only what's crazy about that platform, though, they're still one of the top 100 cryptocurrencies in the world. And had I called him back, if I had those nodes today, which is 4 or 5 years later, it would still be generating $40,000 to $50,000 worth of tokens every month. And they don't trade in the billions every day, but I saw him trade 700 million the other day. I saw him do 27 million, 72 million, enough to sell $50,000 worth any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And so I chalk it up as a missed opportunity. It wasn't the first one I've missed. It wouldn't be the last one. But I started to open up a little bit more to opportunities. And about a year and a half ago, both those guys called me. The one that made 4.3 billion, my other buddy that made 40 million. They said, hey, we want you to take a look at our blockchain community, our projects, and see if you can help us grow. And I started to meet with them. I went to Vegas. I was like, whatever you need me to do, I'm there. I met some individuals, saw some projects, and I found this project that we're on right now. And I actually took it to the blockchain community about a year ago. And we went into beta maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it's gone extremely well. And what blockchain has done is it's given us the ability to compete with some of the biggest companies on the planet. Companies like Zoom, companies like Google, companies like Microsoft. And a lot of people that are new to blockchain technology, if you're like me and you didn't really care much about learning. I'm a low tech guy. I'm not a programmer, not a developer, traditional entrepreneur, started businesses, played tennis in college, tried to play professionally, didn't make any money doing that. And so I was kind of a failed tennis player that was just looking to make extra money, started in my own businesses and have done well as an entrepreneur, but more knee to knee. My biggest company is an accounting firm. We do tax credits for businesses. It's pretty straightforward. If you're qualified for a tax credit, we have a bunch of tax attorneys and CPAs that help you get it. Not a lot of tech involved. When I dug into blockchain, what I realized was two things. If you look at the internet and you say, okay, the internet allows us to send information real time, I would say it closes the distance gap. The world is much smaller thanks to the internet. This is living proof right here. I know, I guess Herb and Patty, I don't know if you're ever in Florida or North Carolina, you're somewhere, I know, in the East Coast usually.
We're in Florida.
Where you, Florida, okay. And then I guess I can pull up the chat. I think Australia's on here tonight, which is kind of cool. So that's pretty much the other side of the world from me. I'm in Puerto Rico. So we have Australia, Puerto Rico. The world is certainly shrunk because of the internet, the ability to send information real time. What blockchain does is it allows you to send value real time. That's the first thing. So when you think about sending value, most people think about fiat currency, like sending a bank wire. I was doing a transaction the other day. I had a friend buying Node software in this project. And he wanted to send, he was buying an NFT, a Node. He was buying a few things, and it was like $6,000 worth of products on the blockchain. Quite a bit. And I had cryptocurrency. It's called USDT. And it's a good friend of mine. We do business together. I said, hey, if you just want to send me $6,000, I'll just use my USDT and we can purchase your products right now. We can purchase the software right now. He goes, okay, let's do it. So he gave me a wallet address. He'd never dealt with crypto before, so it was kind of cool. I shared my screen. I said, okay, you see your wallet address you gave me? And I put it into my send bar, like I wanted to send to that wallet. And I put $6,000 and I hit send. Within about under 15 seconds, the transaction was complete and done. And he was like, dude, he goes, it's like his thing was spinning. It was like waiting for transaction. And then I sent the transaction and then it goes complete. And what was really cool to see, somebody that was new to blockchain, like my buddy Greg, and he goes, do you have Bank of America? And I said, you know, my wife has an account. And he goes, I can do Bank of America to Bank of America transfer to her. So we initiated it. He did it. And I logged into her account and it wasn't there. And we were doing other things, doing other business. And then about an hour, a little over an hour later, it came on. And I was like, oh, it's here. And which is really good, actually, because a bank wire would have taken, well, actually, he could have done a bank wire because he lives in Curacao. He's between Atlanta and Curacao, but there's no Bank of America there. And you have to physically walk into that bank to send a wire. So he couldn't do that. So he could have issued a check or whatever, or an ACH, which could have taken, a few days. But what's crazy is when I logged in, because we both had Bank of America, the transaction was there, but it said that the amount was subject to change and it could take up to 5 days to actually close out, which it was a real cool scenario to see a blockchain transaction happen in 15 seconds for $6,000 and then a $6,000 with Bank of America to Bank of America saying it'll be available in like an hour it took before it showed up. And then it said it wouldn't settle completely for up to 5 days. And that's typical. That's life. That's normal. That's just what we're all accustomed to. Blockchain allows you to send value real time. And the reason it does that is it closes what I would call the trust gap. And I won't get too in depth into the technology side, but imagine all of us are a node on a blockchain network. So we got whatever 80 people, 79, 80 people on the video conference. If I said, listen, let's think about traditional banks. They're the only ones with the data, the only ones with the information. And even us as society don't trust those banks because they have an audit. They have a state audit like every month. They have federal audits. They have national, like in global SWIFT audits if they want to participate in the SWIFT banking platform to do global wires. So they have all these audits to make sure that the banks don't add a zero or, before the comma and send too much money out. A few years ago, and you can Google this, Wells Fargo got fined a few $billions because their bankers were creating accounts for people without the client's knowledge. They had like this compensation package for their bankers where the more accounts they opened, the more their bonuses would be. And so somebody like me would go in there and open a personal bank account and then leave, and they'd take my information and open me a savings account, maybe a business account. They'd open 4 or 5 accounts, and nobody had any idea that was happening. Wells Fargo knew it was happening because they were the only one with the data. And the banker that did it was the only one that knew it was happening. What centralized control does is it creates centralized power. Not just in the banking world, but think about Facebook. Think about Zoom. Zoom just got caught a few months ago sharing everyone's data with their AI. And people flipped out over it. But the problem really at that point was, what is your alternative? You can stop using Zoom, go to Google Meet, go to Microsoft Teams. I mean, Google and Microsoft are better at mining data than Zoom could ever dream of mining data. And so you really had nowhere to go. And so what blockchain does is it creates a decentralized platform. And it gives everyone access to all the data, all the information. If I said tonight, listen, in the chat, I'm going to pick somebody, let's say Sam Arnold. I can see him on the deal. Everybody can guess a number between 1 and 100. And I'm going to think of a number right now between 1 and 100. And if Sam, he gets one chance, puts the proper number in the chat, I'll give everybody on here, 82 attendees, 1 Bitcoin each. Be pretty awesome. Now, here's the problem for you guys. This is a centralized game, just like Wells Fargo, just like Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg owns all our data, makes billions of dollars on it. Zoom owns all our data. Here, I'm the only one with the data. So here's the rules. I'm going to think of the number, but I'm just going to keep it in my head. I'm not going to write it down. I'm not going to tell anybody. And so, Sam, if you type a number in the chat for me, I've got a number in my head. I've picked it. I'm praying you don't get it right. Anybody else can help him if they think they know me and they might know this number. 7. That's a lucky number. A bunch of other people are typing. I haven't seen it yet. There's 84 people on here. Actually, you know what's funny? Somebody, Arian, pays attention. So my football number is 29. And so if I would have picked, let's say, 7, and I saw Sam put it in there, and all of you wanted to make 1 Bitcoin, and Arian's in the Netherlands probably if he's at home. So we've got Europe on here, Australia on here, Puerto Rico on here, the United States on here. But if Sam would have picked that number 7, like he did, and in my head, the number was 7, but I didn't want to give everybody 1 Bitcoin on this call, what I would probably do is, oh my gosh, you're so close, it was 8. I would have just changed the number. And no one but me and God would know that I had done that. That's centralized control. Here's how blockchain works. Let's say I decide there's um, 85 attendees, or no, let's say 81. I screenshot it. Right now we've got 81 people on. I do a screenshot and I share that screenshot with Herb and Patty. And all of you guys in the chat, if you want, you can put the numbers at 81. It cannot change. It's immutable. So we can use the blockchain to create a smart contract. And what we'd say is if Sam picks the number 81, everybody's going to get 1 Bitcoin. And what I have to do to honor that contract is I have to take 81 Bitcoin and I have to put it in an escrow wallet, basically. And it's a smart contract that if Sam plugs that number in and it's the right number, which in this case would be 81, it automatically goes into that wallet and grabs the Bitcoin and starts distributing it to each and every one of you. I can't stop it at that point. Now, if he guesses the wrong number, it's good. The money just comes right back into my wallet. Now, how a blockchain works is all of us now have access to the knowledge that the number is 81. And we're the ones that can share that knowledge with anybody we want. No one can do what Wells Fargo did to us. No one can do what Mark Zuckerberg does and take all our data and monetize it. So how the blockchain works in this platform, there is no owner. There is no corporation that sits on top that owns all the data. The community, the users are the owners. And the community has voting rights based on the software nodes that they operate. They'll also, it's getting ready to come a proposal that I think will pass. The community is going to vote on it. The coin holders will have voting rights. And then the users have voting rights. So me using this platform, Herb using this platform, we have the ability to vote on any big changes in the ecosystem. And what the community voted on is that the users own their own data. And if you own your own data and we turn it on to where eventually you can choose to share your data with the world, and let's say there's advertisers that want your data and you have the option to share it and you get paid to share your data, how many of us would start sharing our data? The problem now is we're already sharing our data. We don't, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't ask us for permission. Jeff Bezos doesn't ask us for permission. Zoom didn't ask us for permission. So now I can either say, hey, listen, I don't want my data out there and I can never share it, and that's fine. Or I have the opportunity to share it and earn income for sharing it. I can earn digital rewards for sharing it. So there's 4 what I call bullet points when you look at this type of platform that uses blockchain technology versus a platform like Zoom, which is centralized and does not use blockchain technology. Number 1, price point. So if you think about Zoom, we have a free trial, they got the free version or whatnot, but we can actually beat them on pricing at the lowest level. They go at like $13.99. Our lowest level's $9.99. You pay, it's even what's cool. You can go through the plans. Like I'll say this: we beat them on price. On the highest level, we do $50 a month, which is comparable to their $340 a month plan. I had a custom plan for $327. The $50 a month program through our link, I saved $3,400 a year. So number 1, we beat up and down. Number 2, we beat them on presentation. If I'm presenting something to people, this is what I would call a conversion platform as well as a presentation platform. So I can actually share with you guys the plans for our link, and I can set it up so you guys can actually scroll through at your own pace and go through the plans if you want to. So right now on your screen or on your phone, you can go through the plans. If you scroll down, you can see it's annually or monthly. The basic package annually is $8.32. You can scroll down and see the pro package, $24.99. You can see that the best value, the ultimate package, if you pay annually, it's $50 a month if you pay monthly, but annually it's $41.65. You get 2 months free, basically. $500 gives you 2 months free. Now, if you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see a comparison where you can see kind of our links packages versus Zoom. at the higher level package where for $50 a month, we get up to 3,000 people per meeting. Zoom for $340 a month, you can get up to 1,000 people per meeting. And so I look at this as more of a conversion platform. And if I want to bring you guys back to the meeting, I can hide that. And so I don't have to share screen. I can share screen, open a website and scroll through it for you, but I can go through a video if I wanted to. With Zoom, if I wanted to share a video right now, I would have to, well, I don't know if I'd have a hard time doing it from my phone. I would have to change the audio setting from the microphone to the computer or to my phone. I would have to usually pull up a YouTube video, wait 5 seconds, skip the ad, and then let the video play for you guys. And then you couldn't hear me while the video was playing. And that's okay. But after the video's done, I'd pause it, stop the microphone from the computer and bring it back to my microphone on my phone. And here, I don't have to do any of that. I can just share a video. I can go right into the video. I can talk over the video if I want to talk over it.
Like Facebook,
I can turn down the volume if I want to turn down the volume.
Ran it from his garage.
I can pause
or
it.
ChatGPT.
I can stop the video completely if I'm done with it and just start presenting again. And so here, I can put slides into the platform where I don't have to share a PowerPoint. Again, I can share PowerPoint, or I can just go right into a slideshow. And I can build any type of slide for any type of industry, any type of business that I want. And so we hammer them on price. I was saving, again, $3,400 a year from, in my opinion, a much better platform. Number two, I beat them on presentation. So price, I've got them. Presentation, I've got them. Technology, I've got them. Like, if you have an option to have somebody like Zoom steal your data, and I saw somebody in the chat put down that they were a victim of that, like the Zoom bombing and the data getting taken. If you have a choice, I think all of us as humans, unfortunately, have, for the most part, conceded to the fact that Mark Zuckerberg is listening to me right now, and Jeff Bezos and Zoom and all these companies, these huge corporations are listening in on us, stealing our data. And it's not that it's like the end of the world, but it's like, how many times have you been talking to a friend and you've been like, oh yeah, I was talking about traveling to San Diego, and all of a sudden I started seeing like hotel ads in San Diego, and I saw airline ticket pricing and car rentals available in San Diego. And it's like, I never typed anything. I never searched for anything. It just started popping up. And it's like, that happens all the time to us. And all we do is, that's weird. That's creepy. That's crazy. But it's not like I'm going to go, all right, I'm throwing my phone away. I'm changing my life completely because Mark Zuckerberg's listening to me. It's like, whatever. It's like, that's life. What if there was an alternative, though? What if you could choose an option where you controlled your data? That's what our link allows you to do. We beat them on price. We beat them on presentation. You own your data here. And you own the platform if you're a community member. You're one of the partners. You're one of the owners. And the last thing is, because we deal on blockchain, you can get digital rewards. You can earn cryptocurrency for using the platform. You can earn even more for sharing with others. And really, there's two things we look for. One, probably the main thing, is community builders. People that are using Zoom or Google Meet, stop and start using this platform and share it with others. Help us build the community. The other thing we look for are node owners. Help us run the blockchain. Help us run the community using your laptop if you want to, or you can do what I do. I think Herb and Patty do the same thing. We host ours in the cloud. There's third-party companies you can go to, pay a few bucks a month, and let them host your node for you. And that node will just generate the magic internet money. And maybe it's never worth anything. But my thought is, if we add millions of users, like the Gala Games project had millions of gamers, I don't know how we don't attack Zoom at the highest level. And I'll wrap up with this. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. And I've been very blessed. God has given me a lot of abilities and talents, and completely through the grace of God, I've been able to generate some massive revenue in several companies. Over the last 4 years, I've had 3 different companies that have generated over $1 billion in revenue. The largest of the accounting firm, over $10 billion in tax credit filings for our clients. And again, it's not necessarily anything that I've done that's amazing. I've just put in success principles that people have mentored me over the years, and I was blessed to have met. And I put their teachings in action, and I've had a lot of success.
Yeah.
One of the things I've never done is tried to go head to head with multi-billion-dollar companies. Like my restaurant delivery service that I told you guys about earlier that I exited, always we planned on selling to Uber or DoorDash or Amazon. Delivery.com ended up making us a better offer than those guys, but we were in talks with all of them. And my thought was, when we started that company in 2016, Uber was like a $60 billion company. I didn't want to try and beat them. I wanted them to buy us. Today, they're a $160 billion company. There was no way I was going to beat them. I remember we were in Salina, Kansas. We were in 300 cities, but one of our cities was Salina, Kansas. And Uber Eats came into Salina. And when they came in, we knew the ad rep that was doing our Google ads, and we were friends with them. And they said that the ad reach from Uber that they spent was 147,000 people that they could reach. The entire metro area of Salina, Kansas is around 47,000 people. So they were like hitting everybody like almost 4 times. And I was like, how do you compete with that? Like that, you just don't. So we knew if we had 300, 400 locations, they might want to buy us and just open all those locations right away. And they did. It was a good idea. This is the first time, and this is blockchain technology. This gives us an advantage that I've never had before in the marketplace. On paper, we beat Zoom. Our community prices out better. We have better presentation and conversion on the platform. We allow every user to own their own data. And then we reward people just for using and sharing the platform. Zoom's never going to let you own the platform. Zoom's never going to give you any rewards for using and sharing their platform. On paper, we win. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to beat them, but we're going to beat them. I'm just telling you. I don't have a crystal ball, but we're Patrick Mahomes and they're Justin Fields, and I'm a Steelers fan. Justin Fields is the back.
You can tell
He's the backup. He's the backup quarterback for the Steelers, and it's like, we're the Eagles and they're a high school team. Like, we outprice them. We beat them on the tech. We beat them by letting people own their data, and we reward you. Like, it's every day now, pretty much. I get messages from people, and it's just a screenshot of them canceling their Zoom accounts. And it's awesome, but they're saving money. They have a better platform. They're getting rewarded, and they control their data. And I felt like if we go to the world, and this is why you've been invited here. If you can help us go to the world and just tell people, listen, there's another way. You don't have to let people own your data. You don't have to let people like Zoom spy on you, like Google, like Microsoft. You can own your data, and you can do it for less money and have a better platform. And so that's really what we're looking for, guys. People to help us build our community, people to help us spread the word. And if you do that, you can earn a lot of this magic internet money, which at the end of the day, maybe it's never worth anything. But I can tell you this. In our beta, in our first 4 months on this platform, we did more revenue than Gala Games did in their first 4 years combined. Their market cap when they peaked was $40 billion. Again, I don't know if we'll do what we're capable of, but God willing, we go out and we do what on paper we should be doing, which is busting Zoom up every day, all day. They have 300 million users daily. There's a huge, and we don't need to get all of them. If we got a million of them, we're doing really well. But I don't know how we don't get at least more than half. They're ripe for disruption. They're Blockbuster Video, we're Netflix. So timing and positioning is everything in business. You couldn't ask for a better place, a better time than being right here at the start of this, what we call Web3 and blockchain revolution. The World Economic Forum in 2021 estimated that blockchain would disrupt $867 trillion in traditional markets with a T. Most people don't fathom that. That was in 2021. I've heard estimates as recently as 6 months ago that blockchain would disrupt 1.3 quadrillion.
Wow.
The question becomes, how do we as individuals and entrepreneurs position ourselves to take advantage of that? Position ourselves to gather up some of that $1.3 quadrillion that's getting ready to shift from centralized control to community control. And that's what we're looking for, guys. I'll turn it back over to Herb and Patty. Thanks so much for you guys sharing your time with me to learn more about what we're doing. Certainly happy to answer any questions if you guys want to open it up, but I'll turn it back over to Herb and Patty. Thanks so much
Tony,
for having me, guys.
thank you, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And I actually wish I was there with you getting on the pickleball court shortly.
Right?
And I know that's where you want to get to. So we won't hold you up too much. But if anybody does have a question, we can maybe put it in the chat, Herbie. You can monitor it. I know you were asking me to put a something in the chat and you were going to show people how you could highlight it. But I'm on my phone now
Oh,
because my
yeah,
computer
that's
ran out
cool.
of battery. Yeah, there's just so many awesome little tricks and features that this has. And
I can
just
feature a
even,
chat right now for everybody.
there you
There you
go.
go. Yeah. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is that, Tony, you hit the nail right on the head. The way I see it is that, you use the Blockbuster Netflix example. It's a great example. In this space right now, I think, we're here at a point in time where the vast majority of the world has no understanding of blockchain technology, none whatsoever. And yet,
Right.
hear about it on a governmental scale, on a socioeconomic scale. It's becoming the new buzzword. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like hearing about the internet and taking advantage or monetizing it back in 1990 before it really went through a boom. That's where we're at right now. And so when you look at video conferencing, you look at Link, the platform that we're on, decentralization is a big deal. Not being owned by a one company. And I got to make that point because it's so important to let everybody know this is not a company that's owning this. This is a decentralized blockchain project. And so, you're not out there promoting another company. You're just looking at a technology that's about to boom that you can actually help explode and really gain ownership in. And
Yeah.
I can't think of a more exciting thing, to really engage in these times.
And you think about what Gala Games did, and Tony, you went through your whole story and what that was a $10 million costly hiccup. And I'll say though that this, as we gain users and it's called utility usage, get more and more people worldwide will want this. I mean, like Tony went through it several times with the cost, the ease of use, presentation, the ability to convert people, being paid for that on the project level, business level, if you will, but that business in this community is called a project. To be able to be paid for that, to be spread around the world. Imagine if we were paid for spreading Zoom, which
Yeah.
moved mostly by word of mouth. And the privacy alone is so important today because people are concerned about that, obviously. And of course, so we're getting rewarded for spreading the platform, but we're also having the opportunity as business owners to own part of the actual project by owning the software nodes and literally becoming what it's called, ladies and gentlemen, is miners. We're actually becoming miners of the actual rewards that right now might be valued at 0.0022, not much. But what happens as this starts to grow, if it goes to $1, $2, that's where, the potential lies. But like Tony says, we can't guarantee that. But the truth is I can see it. If it happened with Gala Games and gamers, what could possibly happen with something that is as useful as video conferencing that gives us privacy?
Well, 300 million people a day are on Zoom globally. I venture to guess that we can get 1 million.
You'd hope. I think so. I got a few questions that popped up. Somebody was asking about Florida. I think in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll have details on the Florida event. It's going to be late June. We'll get the exact dates. Fort Lauderdale is going to be the location. Ian was asking if note owners own the company, whom's the monthly payments made out to. So there's a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization based out of Wyoming. We also have a similar setup out of Switzerland as well, but the community controls the DAO. So the DAO has a bank account that we need to accept credit cards, and then that money goes right into the blockchain, basically. So we convert it from US dollar into our tokens. And then the node network is what distributes. It's through an algorithm that the community voted on. The community voted on the compensation, the algorithm that pays everybody out. I think there's going to be an update to the algorithm coming soon that I'm pretty excited about. We're running some data on it, simplifying everything, but making it even more lucrative for the users and the community builders. So it's exciting times. Someone else was asking a question about free version versus Google. We'll have a free version soon. We have a free trial now. Our main target is going to be the paid users on Zoom. That's our main target. Eventually, though, we'll allow free users to just stay free, and they'll have 50 minutes or whatever, and then their meeting will shut off. But the community will vote. I think they're already going to vote that the free users' data we can sell out to advertisers. So the community will own their data and monetize it. So imagine getting rewards and getting paid to bring free users onto the platform. And that's life now. That's the world now. If you're not paying for the platform and you're not paying for the service or the product, you are the product. You are the service. Like your data is what they're interested in. Someone else was asking about Microsoft Teams. That's a little bit longer on the roadmap. That's a sticky client. If they have Microsoft Teams, I always hate to admit it, but I'm always upfront with people. My accounting firm has to use Microsoft Teams. If we don't, we lose our cyber insurance because we're on the Microsoft suite. And so everything has to be on Microsoft. Microsoft Teams is my least favorite platform. And I was like, man, if I can find another cyber insurance, one of these days I'll get off of them. But right now, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, and it ain't easy to insure those bad boys. So there's not a lot of options on cyber insurance right now. So, but the problem with Teams, you set up all your rooms, you set up everything. It's a very sticky platform. We'll eventually go after them. Trust me, it's on our roadmap. But right now, there's 300 million daily Zoom users. That's easy, low-hanging fruit that we can go after. Again, if somebody's using Google Meet for free, that's not our target. But maybe 5 months from now, 4 or 5 months, 6 months from now, we have the free version that's just free. Yeah, that's our target because Google's taking your data and giving you nothing. Free users, we might even pay them for some of their data. We'll give them a little spiff and we'll give you a spiff for bringing us free users. So it's coming. I'll do one more question. Okay, that was Angie's. So James was asking about sharing information from the big meetings here. There's a ton of information, and I don't mind sharing as much as I can. I think what's relevant now is the breakthroughs that our foundations team is building out. The easy way to explain this, it's tough if you're new to blockchain, but even if you're new to blockchain, you're probably familiar with a platform called Ethereum. It's the second largest cryptocurrency in the world. You've got Bitcoin, kind of most people know about, and Ethereum that probably most people know about. The problem that I see with Ethereum, and a lot of people see with Ethereum, is it's not very user friendly. Give you an example. When I sent my friend USDT, so I sent him USDT, which is a cryptocurrency tied to the dollar. I sent him 6,000 of those. I had to pay a gas fee through the Ethereum network to do that. So it's almost like credit cards have fees. If you're a restaurant and you want to take credit cards, you have to pay a fee. Here's the problem, though, with Ethereum's network. Imagine I want to send that USDT, which I did, and they charged a fee. It was like $1.27 to send it. But they don't accept USDT. They only accept ETH. They accept it's called gas, their Ethereum fee. So if I didn't have any of that, I have to go somewhere in the crypto universe and buy Ethereum and put it in that wallet. And that way I can add the Ethereum on. To give you a real world example, imagine if you went to a restaurant and you used your credit card. There's some restaurants these days that do what's called cash discount. And so they say, hey, if you use your credit card, say your restaurant, your bill's $100, and they go, it's a $3, 3% fee to use your Visa card. And you go, no problem, whatever, it's $103, just put it on there. And the restaurant owner goes, sorry, for that fee, we don't accept credit cards. You have to give us $3. And you're like, the reason I carry credit cards so I don't have to carry cash. So let me see if I can find somebody to borrow $3. So then you use your credit card, but you have to give them $3. That's kind of how Ethereum works. It's like, oh, you want to pay USDT to your buddy Greg? You need some Ethereum to do it. Not very efficient. The technology that we're building on the foundational layer of all of our layer 1 chains, imagine a company wants to use our blockchain technology and will accept their native token as our gas fee. It's way easier. It's like, and if they have to pay an extra fee, you just put it on the Visa card. And so if you're new to blockchain, like the way our tech is coming along, we're gonna go after the Zooms of the world. We're gonna go after the Ethereums of the world. We're gonna be the one-stop shop for anybody that's wanting to transition. There's some amazing things that are happening with our wallets. Like right now, if you go to your wallet and you click like the bridge, you can go in and look right now out of the market. Now, here's the biggest breakthrough. These bundles come out. Just 10% you should stop bringing having me more going to swap and paying a massive fee sometimes. So that could be one. I've got a lot of friends. It's my buddies. I don't understand it or anything. He goes, can I buy the token? I told him we're ready to like 30% extra. He goes, like nobody really wants to sell these tokens. They're holding them because they're pretty cheap. And he goes, all right, well, as soon as I can grab 100,000 all at once, he's like, let me know. I was like, all right, I'll let you know. I said, I think it's going to be this week or so. So yeah, it's coming. Let me see this one. Will we be able to use the tokens to buy? Yeah, that's going to be turned on soon in the near future as well. You'll be able to use it to pay for the platform. You'll be able to use it to buy nodes. But again, we're building up the marketplace right now and building up the liquidity pools right now. Until we have strong liquidity pools, it's tough to do that. Here over the next several months, we're working on building up those liquidity pools. And actually, these NFTs will help us do that. And so that's a huge, huge thing at Puerto Rico meeting that you see, I think,
You've answered a lot of questions, and if you keep answering, they're going to keep asking the questions. So
we'll shut her down. I haven't even here, so I should probably head up.
We got a lot of fired up people right now. They're coming around. They're knowing it. They're seeing it, and obviously being on the platform and seeing how it functions and how you can highlight chats and stuff like that. It's really, really neat. You know, we're loving it. And you know, close by saying we don't see how we can be. You know, you said they're easy to a few million of their consumers or subscribers. When we do that, you're going to be glad that you own a piece of that.
Sure.
You know, I don't know what to close the door.
That's it. I just want to appreciate you. We all appreciate your time and your knowledge in this team. Very soon.
Anytime.
And, all right, I'm gonna hold you to that. And then of course we did an incredible call. Don't forget to send. I need that info. You know what I'm talking about. We did an incredible call with a huge corp, so we got to get that over to him. So we'll get that going.
We'll get that over for sure.
Okay.
All right, everybody, have a
As soon
good
as I
evening.
have internet.
Yeah. Get some internet. Get off the cell phone. Get on the computer. It's cool
Right.
that you do it from a cell phone, though.
It is kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Everyone else, that's pretty much it. You guys get a load of the platform, how it works, how it operates, what we have. I think people understand of where we're going with this. If you don't, really continue to investigate so that you can actually gain knowledge, because sometimes we put the brakes on with something new. Things that are difficult now will be easy later. Things that are easy now are going to be difficult later. So you might as well adjust, because people are coming back to us now and saying, oh my gosh, you guys are really in front of this thing,
So
because
before we
now
leave,
more and more is coming out on blockchain.
before we leave, something's very important. If you're a guest and hearing about this for the first time, please talk to the person who invited you to this. They'll send you a link where you can get a 14-day free trial using the platform. Take advantage of that. Use the platform and start to see the ease of using it. I got to tell you, I've been using Zoom for about a good 14 years now, and I still don't know how to use Zoom. This is so simple. Everything you've seen go on tonight, basically, I've almost conducted from sitting right here on the platform. It's really, really user-friendly, and I'm not a techie. So get in touch with the person who invited you here this evening. Tell them to send you the link for the 14-day free trial and see if you like it. And if you do, welcome to the community. With that, I'll say good evening, everybody. Have a nice night. God bless.
Good night, all.